अच्युतं केशवं रामनारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरिं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं जानकीनायकं रामचन्द्रं भजे अच्युतं केशवं सत्यभामाधवं माधवं श्रीधरं राधितं इन्दिरामन्दिरं चेतसा सुन्दरं देवकी नन्दनं नन्दजं सन्ददे।
ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ऋकारस्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। We shall be looking at the famous grantha called Vivekachudamani. It is a very popular Vedantic text which is generally attributed to Shankara Bhagavad Padacharya, and there are some modern scholarly contention that this may not have been authored by Bhagavad Pada himself, but some Shankaracharya who has come later in one of the matas. It is not a great necessary thing to discuss, but it is not a great matter of concern also as to who is the author of this, because irrespective of whether it was done by Bhagavad Pada himself or any other Acharya, the Sampradaya, the lineage being the same, the whole Guru Parampara, everybody is a Shankaracharya only for us, because there is no difference between the vision that any of the jnanis have. So it is prudent that we look at the grantha as one of the leading Sampradaya granthas for us to understand the Shastra and the Jnanam that is spoken in these texts. So the Vivekachudamani, the word Viveka itself means discrimination. The discrimination between what is Satyam and what is Asatyam. So the Satya Vastu, for it to be recognized, you need to have the Viveka, the ability to discriminate. Now, what for is this grantha written, composed? It is for the Parama Purushartha, which is moksha. The Grantha is to gain moksha, the Parama Purushartha. What is a Purushartha? Purushena Artyate is a Purushartha. An end that is desired to be accomplished. Purushena Artyate. A desire to accomplish an end by a Purusha or a human being is called a Purushartha. Now, the Purusharthas are classified into 4 broad categories, which are Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Artha is the first one. Artha means anything which gives you security, like wealth or belongings. They give you what? A sense of security. That is called Artha. So either the end that a human seeks, one of the end is to gain security. I want to be secure by possessing certain wealth, certain bank balance, certain belongings. I need to have a house, I want to have, certain vehicles and all that. All these come under an end called Artha. Then the second Purushartha is Kama, a desire to be happy, to be pleased. That is Kama. It can be, an accomplishment will be in terms of gaining a certain Ka. That is also a desired end. So that can include relationships, good food, going to restaurants, watching movies, all these kind of things which give you a certain pleased self. That is called Kama. That is an end that a person seeks to accomplish other than security. Then the third one is what is called Dharma. Now the Dharma can be looked at in 2 ways. You don't do everything just for gaining pleasure or gaining security. There are also certain things because you look upon yourself as an incomplete person who also want to have a self-satisfaction. You need to have a self-image. So you want to do certain righteous things. There is a natural inclination to do the right things because you know what is right and wrong. It is given to you because you recognize what hurts you, what pleases you by somebody else's action. Another person hits you, you are not happy, so you know that you shouldn't hit someone else. So these kind of things, there is a recognition of what is right and wrong, and you want to see yourself as somebody who is on the side of the right. That is one way of looking at Dharma. That can be an end that people would like to pursue. Another thing about Dharma is what happens after my death. That also drives a certain behavior. The religious philosophies come and tell you that there is heaven, there is Swarga. So if you do certain actions, you will reach certain places. that also drives you. It is not giving you a direct pleasure or security here, but it's kind of another kind of security, but it is focused towards after death. That is also part of dharma. So these are three broad classifications, artha, kama and dharma, of your normal pursuits in the world. There is also a fourth purushartha, which is called moksha, which not everybody actually pursues knowingly. Moksha means to be liberated. Much means to be free. Of what? From the bondage, from whatever limitations you want to be free. That is called moksha, desire. That is actually freedom from insecurity, inadequacy. That is called moksha. Not everybody recognizes that there is a fundamental problem of insecurity and inadequacy. Only certain people recognize this fact, that I am having a fundamental problem of inadequacy, unhappiness and insecurity, which is the reason that I am pursuing the other three purusharthas. When I am pursuing artha, that means I think I am intrinsically insecure. I want freedom from that insecurity. Therefore, I am seeking security, which is in the form of artha. Okay? That is why we run after things in the world. So the more money I get, the more secure I am. That's what I think. But this more is always there. There is always a more. You gain 20 lakhs, there is always something more. You gain 20 crores, also you need something more. Even if you get the entire world's wealth, you still feel insecure because you may lose it also. Therefore, the sense of insecurity is what drives you towards the artha, but then it doesn't seem to get quenched. You always seem to need clutches to support you. Because you think you are not able to stand on your legs. You feel so insecure that you need things to support you. You need emotional security, you need financial security. All kinds of security you need because there is a inherent fundamental problem of the sense of insecurity. Similarly, there is a sense of inadequacy. I am limited by space. If I am in this room, I am not in the next room, I am not in the next town. I want to be watching IPL cricket match, but at the same time I also want to watch a movie. So I am limited spatially, I am limited time-wise. I was born only on a particular date. I don't know till when I am going to be there. And we don't know how long this creation has been, maybe millions of years. And I am a speck, a small, very insignificant window of time that I exist for. So I am limited by time, I am limited by knowledge. I don't even know what's going on in the next room. In fact, I don't even know what's going on in my own body. So there is so much of fundamental issue of limitation, inadequacy. These are all fundamental issues. And I think that by securing things, I will become secure, I will become adequate. More and more collection I do, I think I will gain an adequacy, but despite accruing so much of things, the inadequacy doesn't seem to go away. I think by marrying somebody, I'll become happy. The other person also thought the same. and then you got married. This in sense of insecurity, sense of inadequacy, does it go away? It only gains more focus. You finally find out that your inadequacies are even more than what you originally thought. That's what it leads to. Now recognizing all this, there is a certain Viveka, and the pursuit of moksha is on. It starts. I want to be free from these limitations. Then I go to various people who promise freedom from pain and inadequacy. They say, you believe in this God, you follow what I say exactly the same way, don't worship any other God, this God only you worship. Then you will be free. We ask, when, sir, we will be free? He says, after you die, you will go to a Golok Vrindavan or heaven or somewhere where you can dance with the God and be free. Then the question we ask, sir, I wanted freedom from insecurity and inadequacy here because I don't know whether I will survive death. And if I survive death also, I don't know if I will go there with this kind of identity. Because this body, I know I leave it here, physical body. But whatever that goes there, does it know that it is the same person who is going? No, if it goes also and goes sits there, then if it recognizes itself as the same entity, then will it not have, concerns about what it left behind in this earth? No, we don't know all this. And sitting there as a limited being, how do I become free of all kinds of insecurity? Because I will be still an insecure, limited entity. So that moksha doesn't seem to really create the freedom that I am seeking. Assuming that freedom needs to be created for me, or freedom needs to start. Now Vedanta comes here, Advaita Vedanta, and tells you a vision that your own self, the Atma, is Nitya Muktaha. It is your nature. Freedom is your nature. It is already an accomplished Siddham. But only due to Ajnana, ignorance, there is the sense of limitation, inadequacy, bondage, insecurity, lack of freedom, limitation. It's all due to ignorance because you don't know what is your nature. Now, what is to be determined? Let us assume that this is a topic for me to ascertain. Now I can take two paths, right? Either I can say, I don't believe in this. I know I am limited, but this whatever it is saying, this Vedanta is saying, is not assimilatable to me. It can't be true. So I will pick some other path. But then that some other path is telling you that you will not get it here. It is only saying you believe in me in this particular path and after death you will see. That's a non-verifiable belief. Nobody who has gone there has come back and said that. I mean, they claim that God has sent them as messenger and all that. But yeah, if you trust that, that's a different thing. But you don't know of people who have gone to those heavens and all those Golok, Vrindavan and come back. So, It's a matter of belief. I mean, we are not against people who want to believe, but we ourselves are doing a vichara here. So that is one. The other option for you is to see that, okay, maybe it is true, maybe it is wrong, false, but then the promise is that it is gained here. Because if you are free, if freedom is your nature, it cannot be a matter of belief. It is not something for you to trust. It should be a matter to know. You should ask the question, how come I don't know? You cannot ask the question, when will I gain that freedom? Because it is said that your nature is freedom. You are Nitya Muktaha. If you are Nitya Muktaha, the question cannot be, when will I get that Mukti? If I am already Muktaha, how come I don't know? How do I know? So moksha becomes a pursuit of knowing. Okay? Very, very important. So a person who is seeking moksha is called mumukshu, the one who wants to be free. First of all, that Viveka has to be there, that I want to be free. I have a fundamental problem, has to be there. Otherwise, the person is not a mumukshu, he is a laukika, like 99.99% of the world is. Now somebody recognizes that this arthakama and dharma is not going to remove my fundamental problem, then I am seeking some other thing which is called freedom. And I know these three or dharma, artha, kama is not going to give me that. So I want an end which is called freedom or moksha. That is called mumukshu. That mumukshu can become an ISKCON person, can be a Visishta Advaiti, can be a Dvaiti, then be anybody. Everybody is seeking moksha only. Now, this recognition that moksha that I want is my own Swarupa, and since it is my own Swarupa, it needs to be known, cognized. Whoever gains this recognition, understanding that what I am seeking is knowledge, then that person becomes a jignasu. Jnatum ichcha jignasa. The pursuit is one of knowing. When the pursuit becomes one of knowing, what I need is a means to know, then only it is a valid knowledge. Without a means to know, it cannot be a valid knowledge. We have to talk about all that means to know and all that thing when we discuss this grantha. Now, basic thing we need to understand now through this last 20 minutes, 25 minutes of discussion is the Purushartha of moksha is what is intended to be gained through this grantha, book called Vivekachudamani, which is help you gain the moksha, which is your Purushartha. Even though when you didn't even recognize your Purushartha as moksha, at that time also you are actually only seeking moksha. You think you are seeking artha, you think you are seeking kama, you think you are seeking dharma, but actually you are only seeking moksha. How? Because when you are seeking security also through artha, you are inherently seeking what? Freedom from insecurity, not really the security. You think you are insecure, therefore you are seeking artha. So that freedom from insecurity is what is called moksha. You think artha will give you, but actually it's not going to give you. You don't recognize that. But then what you are pursuing is only freedom from insecurity. That means you are actually seeking moksha without knowing that you are seeking moksha. Anyway, so once a person recognizes that I am seeking moksha and that can be gained only through jnanam, then Vivekachudamani becomes a means. Now the question is, what is the connection between knowing this book and gaining that freedom, which is moksha? How can reading book give you moksha? Reading the book will tell you certain facts, but that cannot give you a moksha. And that too you are saying, it can give you, oh, you are free, you are pure, you are bliss, you are this, that it can tell, then I can read and then I can also, oh, the book has told it, you are free, therefore I should be free only. Is that enough? By just believing that you are a totally free person, do you actually become free? You don't. That is why people think, oh, then I need something more. First you read, then you practice. That is what people think. Okay? But if your Swarupa is already Mukta, then it doesn't need you to do anything. You just need to know. But the knowing has to be a direct knowledge. Then only that is called a knowledge. Otherwise, it is only a belief. Therefore, this book or any Vedanta Grantha becomes a direct means to know. How and all we have to see, because we can't cover everything in the introduction. This is what it is. This is the context of this Grantha called Vivekachudamani. Now the first verse. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tam Agocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmi Aham. Here there is one verb, Pranatosmi. Aham Pranatosmi Nataha Asmi. I remain saluting. Pranataha Asmi. Nataha means to prostrate. Pranataha is I am fully surrendered. Asmi, I remain. Aham, I remain saluting. That means I have already surrendered to whoever I am surrendering to, have surrendered to, and I remain that way. To whom? Sadgurum. The Guru who is a Sadguru. We will have to see the meaning for all these, okay, which we will probably do in the next session. But let's get the first level meaning. Sadgurum Pranataha Asmi. Okay? That is all the actual sentences. I remain saluted to the Guru. Now the remaining words, what about the Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam, Tamo Gocharam, Govindam, all that, they are adjectives to Sadgurum. Who is this Sadguru? That Sadguru is Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam, Agocharam, Govindam, Paramanandam. These are attributes, adjectives of what is a Sadguru. Now we need to understand what it means. By just this one salutation, the whole Grantha's import is given. What is the subject to be known that is being revealed by this Grantha? What is the subject matter that is revealed in this verse? How it is, that knowledge, that is also given here. What is the means by which that knowledge has to be gained? That is also given here. Why only through that means that I can know? That is also spoken about here. Who is a guru? That is also spoken about here. Who is Ishvara? He is also spoken about here. And what is Veda? What is Vedanta? What is Brahma Swarupa? And what is Sharanagati? What is Shraddha? Everything is covered in this. Okay, not explicitly, it is not written, but by implication, once you understand, lot of these things are covered in this one shloka. Because Pranataha Asmi Sadguru Anandam. How is Guru Anandam? And not just Anandam, Parama Anandam. And how can that Ananda, which is my own experience, assuming it is an experiential Ananda, okay? What is the difference between experiential Ananda and Swarupa Ananda, we will see. But how can that be the Guru? And how can the Guru be Govinda? And who is this Govinda? Okay, if we think it is, if we accept that this was composed by Shankara Bhagavatpada, you can take it as Govinda Bhagavatpada, who is Shankaracharya's Guru. If we believe that this was not written by Shankaracharya, then this Govindam can be taken as Sri Krishna. And that Sri Krishna is Sadguru. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Now, why that Parama, that my Sadguru, or am I saluting Govinda or my Guru? Again, that connection. Okay, what is the Sampradaya? Again, that can be spoken about here. And what is a Gocharam, Agocharam, Siddhanta Gocharam, Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam, and then what is the Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam? So, a lot of these things actually talk about the entire Vedanta, the Prakriya, the Sampradaya, the Phalam, everything is covered in this verse. So, we will have to spend time in the next session to understand this one. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.